Okay. All right, so the time is 4:13. We're gonna get started just a little earlier than usual, just so that way you can get out of here a little earlier than usual. I already clicked this slide, sorry. Our agenda for today, we're gonna review the HRS level 3 folders. We're gonna go over new department data, third 6 weeks discipline data, iReady incentives, the 222222222 themes. There's a lot of twos. And the suggestion box if we have any. So let me pull up the HRT folder. Did everyone work on their HRTs this week? Did anyone not? Should I not pick on someone?
I have a question. I added the link that Gilda told me to add, but I had a question mark by math committee, and the only thing that's in there is a sign-in sheet, and I don't think I need to link that to our 3.2.
Okay. When we get there, point it out to me again, and then we'll look at that in detail. Let me throw this over here so you can all look.
I added some things to 3.4 too.
Oh, it doesn't want to throw it. Here we go. Maybe? Partially? Okay. We'll roll with it. Okay, so 3.1. Who's in 3.1? What group is that? Maddie?
Me, Gilda, and Greer.
Okay, awesome. Okay, this is distracting. Let's pull this. There we go. Okay. So 3.1, what we have is lesson plans, so a lesson plan template, the instructional round calendar, the TEACS resource system example. Do you have that?
We're going to add it.
You're going to add it? Okay. Did we check all these links last time? That looks good.
Yeah,
They're there. Okay. Awesome. Essential standards, planning meeting agenda, master schedule showing CTE. Stephanie, didn't you mention that you had posted multiple copies of the master schedule?
I have 3.6, and what I've done in the past week or so is I've gone through and where it called just for the CTE classes, I put just the CTE class page.
Okay.
And things like our pages, depending on what it is.
Okay, so then, Maddie, if you want to look in 3.6, she has the CTE classes already cropped in. If you just want to pull from her link, you can link your link to what she's already uploaded. And then department data folder. That looks good. ESC adoption rubric. Should we make sure that when they come do that walkthrough that you don't have to be logged in to view these? Or will it be guided when he's coming through? Like when they do their review, because everything right now is linked to the OneDrive.
I think I had it projected and I was clicking.
You were clicking? Okay. Okay. Just want to make sure. Didn't want that to be a hiccup. Okay, well, good job. 3.1, that looks good. Let's go to 3.2. Whose group 3.2?
Ours.
Ours, good.
8th grade.
8th grade. Okay, so this is what you were saying about the highlighting.
Because I wasn't sure if we wanted to keep it or remove it.
Okay, so it says the essential elements of the content taught in school have been identified. The amount of time needed to adequately address the essentials. School teams meet regularly to discuss.
So it could go with that one if we wanted to put the sign-in sheet, just to show that it is being, that they're meeting. Yeah?
I mean,
I think so.
it's probably better to cover
Just
all
one
the
more-
bases
just
than
to be safe.
yeah.
Okay,
Because then
I'll
it's one more point towards
Okay.
instead of scrambling at the
All right.
end if we need it.
I'll put
Oh.
the sentence and link it.
Yes. 3.1, Maddie, y'all also need to put y'all's in sentences in
Oh,
sentence
yeah.
form.
I will work on
Thank you, 3.2, because y'all made me think of that. We checked all of y'all's last time too. Yeah, looks good. Yeah, awesome. Good job. Good job, 8th grade. 3.3. I think this is this our group?
No, this is
This is Slatton and Cassidy and I.
Got it. And Taylor.
Oh, the parent night information on curriculum, we're still trying to plan something so we can get it linked in there.
Okay. And then you said last week that you were working with Miss Barron to get that highly qualified report?
Yes.
Okay. That'll come from that report as well. And all your links are good? Did we check those last week too? I mean, it looks good. Sentences are good. All your stuff's in there. Yeah. Questions about 3.3? Are we cool with that?
Does the highly qualified thing have a report?
It will.
what
She just has to get it from Miss Barron.
Oh, that's from
Yes. Isn't it just a report explaining that all of our teachers are certified and degreed
It's like
to
a verification
do their job?
report.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then 3.4. Okay, so we have district goals for the district improvement plan, campus improvement plan. And then Debbie, these are examples. These are what all the goals are?
Yes,
Okay,
for the special populations.
okay,
And I emailed
Perfect.
Gilda about the SIOP, but I haven't got it from her yet,
okay,
with how to train your teachers in the SIOP.
okay.
But I don't know if that's.
Oops. You don't know if that's the right thing we need?
Well, yeah, like I actually put the goal, like I went to the campus improvement plan and found the goal and what performance objective it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so is that okay to list it like that, or, because y'all said, to put them in complete sentences? Will that not suffice?
I think it's okay, but I don't know if nobody else did that, so I think it's just gonna look different from everybody
Right.
else's, and I don't necessarily want it to look different. I would just make it another bullet point and
Okay.
just not put that it's,
What goal?
that it's, right,
performance objective?
right,
Okay, all
right, just that we train all new teachers in SIOP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the examples of department goals and family engagement. Looks good to me for special pop. Does anyone have any other ideas of things that we could put in that special pop folder? Other than, because it's all directly related to the goals.
Anything about the English learners?
We have specific like district and campus goals about English learners. And then the Title I aspect goes into that family engagement. Okay.
What about something specifically for special ed?
We have the RDA report, or that RDA special, that's not what is it called?
Oh, the plan that you have?
Yes. Yeah, isn't it an RDA plan? That special, the special
Is that
ed,
what that's linked to?
goal
Is
plan?
the plan?
yes.
So,
Does the plan have the list of staff development and what our teachers have attended?
no, it was just questions. We need to fill it in. Well, like, the copy I had didn't have that, it had questions.
No, maybe this is something else.
You could also link it to your department folder where you have all your special ed department agendas.
Okay, so we can make that adjustment, Debbie.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
I can share them on OneDrive.
Okay, Ms. Slatton's gonna share with us, the special ed department folder, and we're gonna link it there as well.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. And who's 3.5?
Seventh grade.
Seventh grade.
We've been done for a couple weeks. Y'all already checked them.
All right.
I haven't touched it since a couple weeks.
I think it deserves a round of applause.
Yes, great job, 7th grade.
For those overachievers in the middle of the campus there.
All right, and 3.6. That is
Sonia, Robert, and Stephanie.
Okay.
We still need to do complete sentences.
Okay. You have
And
a
we still
lot of
have
stuff in there.
Few more things to add, but
Okay.
I've been adding as I could.
This is the indicator that is like special programs, extended school day, extended school year. That's your indicator, correct? Yes. Okay. Cool.
The
Yeah.
only thing I added to the tutorials, where is that? There it is. I added the math tutorial thing, but I have not received anything from Language Arts for tutorials.
Okay. So you
And,
just
I solicited information from some teachers that I thought had kids come in at lunch and do tutorials, but I haven't gotten anything from that. So if anybody does lunchtime tutorials, if y'all will get the kids to sign in and then email us.
Okay.
I think it's.
Miss Bomar, do you do lunchtime tutorials?
No, I just let them come in and work on work. They
Missing
don't-
work?
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
tutorials.
It doesn't include.
Okay.
No, like.
Okay, so it's just lunch
morning
tutorial,
tutorials.
UIL teams and
Some of
practices.
it's
You
like
just need like a sign-in
Robert
sheet for
told me
that?
he'd put that one in, the
Okay.
YL team. And
Summer learning.
No, it's not.
summer learning.
Did you just do like the invitation that Greer
Miss
sent?
Meyer.
Meyer, that's who I need a sign-in sheet
She
from,
hasn't done any.
Sign in for Meyer?
is Miss
Okay.
Meyer.
She hasn't done any.
Oh,
I can
That
have
could
my
be
kids
why.
sign in, 'cause I've-
yeah, if you do that, and then we can just send me a picture of the sign-in, and I can link it.
I think for summer learning, you could put in the summer school application, but if you wait right before spring break, for the district is going to send home a letter to parents explaining who has to attend summer.
Okay, I'll
learning.
put that in there
Yeah.
at that time.
Okay, awesome. And then Saturday tutorials, could they do could y'all put in that, either the sign-in sheet or even that, just that block list or invitation that they send home to the kids that says, name, this is why you're going, come see us in Saturday school? Okay, cool. So y'all don't have a whole lot of work to do, just a couple of things. Couple of housekeeping. And I think that's our last indicator, right? That's it. Does anyone have questions about HRS?
No.
Everyone but
No, we're
7th grade
doing
has a
a
little bit of
great
homework.
job.
Oh, and 8th grade. 8th grade. Y'all are killing it too. Just a little bit. Awesome. I think my computer is about to die because it's lagging really good. Okay. We did that. New department data. Does anyone have any new department data they want to share? Ooh, 6th grade first. Let's hear it.
Sixth grade, Unit 3B, which is our other half of our informational. Approaches, we had 68.52. Meets 29.63 and masters 19.44. Sorry.
68.52.
Uh-huh. 29.63 and 19.44.
And what did you say that unit was?
Informational.
Awesome. Do you know how that looks from last year to this year?
Looking at our benchmark from last year, because last year we did not do an informational test. We took the one from our benchmark.
Okay.
5th grade benchmark though, their approaches was 58. Meets was 28 and masters was 14.
Okay, so you're up from all of those from last year to this year?
Yep.
Good, awesome. Good job, 6th grade. 8th grade?
We took our Unit 7 industrialization test. What? What's so funny? Oh, did I say something? We took our Unit 7 industrialization test, and our approaches is 88%.
Wow,
Nice.
that's awesome.
Our meets is 64%,
Wow.
That's great.
and our mastery is 48%.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Great job. Yes, please.
Comparative to last year, our approaches is up 10 points. Our meets is up 17 points.
Whoa.
Make a ginger.
Yes.
Okay. And the mastery is up 14.
Awesome. Great job. See, all those note cards that you're using, that's helping. Angie might not like it, but
Yes.
it's helping.
Sorry, Angie, about all the index cards I'm taking.
How it's paid
It is
off.
working.
I did quiz them the other day. I was like, can you tell me who Eli Whitney is?
They
And
were
they all
telling
like
me.
stood up and screamed, and I was like, one at a time.
Yeah, they were telling me about it.
That's awesome. Good. Anyone else?
We had, our Unit 3 fiction test.
Excuse me.
We had 68% approaches, 37% meets, 21% masters. And that is up from 54% approaches,
Wow.
19% meets, and 5% mastered.
Wow.
That's really good.
That's awesome. Look, we're all just showing all that growth. That's really good. Great job. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, all killing it. Anyone else? Awesome. Great job. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to cover third 6 weeks discipline data. So basically what I did was I took the overall PEMS report, simplified it a little bit, put it into some categories so we can look at kind of what that looks like. Third 6 weeks was included November and December. So it was very interesting to compare the months of how many referrals we got. So for referral data, in November we had 78 referrals. December we had 50, which kind of makes a little bit of sense because we were here less days in December than we were in November. We had 22 referrals come from buses. So that was a good chunk of the 128 that we had came from buses, not just from classroom. And then here's a breakdown of the total referrals by grade level. They're pretty evenly distributed. 8th grade's just a little higher than 6th grade. But like I said, 22 of those came from the bus. And so that could have been where the difference was all the way across. And then here is the distribution of referrals split up into genders and then what the referral was written for. So we have insubordination, disruption to the learning environment, disrespect, class cutting. 59 is the PEMS code for like a major discipline issue at DAEP. So that's a very isolated incident, but it does come up on the report. And then 21 is the PEMS code for anything that violates the student code of conduct. So 21 could be anything from getting into a fight to, I don't even know off the top of my head, help me.
Cussing out loud.
Cussing out loud.
Classroom.
Yes. So any of those things. And so you can see that we had a lot of them that were coded 21. We only had 2 female students. Class cutting, we had 10 referrals for disrespect, 11 for disruption, and then 38 for insubordination. And you can see that there's a huge disproportion between boys and girls, yeah, males and female students. But does anyone have questions about that? It's interesting to see it this way because you just see it in that long report and it's hard to kind of digest. So this way you can see that the boys are having a little harder time than some of the girls. I think I have one more chart, one more breakdown. And then these are the referral consequences. So ISS is in school suspension. OSS is going to be out of school suspension. That's used in very isolated incidents. We try not to suspend kids outside of school. We had 6 DAEP placements, and then we had 71 what we're going to call conferences. So that could be anything from like your conference, or the conference could lead to like lunch detention. It could lead to a phone call home, or just a conversation between administrator and student. A lot of our bus referrals ended in one of these conferences. Yeah.
That could include bus removals too, if they're
Bus
removed.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that's not coded in PEMS at anyway. So
Yeah.
it could be a bus removal in that big purple area.
Yes. So when you PEMS code it, it's a 5, 6, and 7. And so this conference is a no code. So it just ends up being a lot of the catch-all. Because if you can't code it for in-school, out-of-school suspension, or a DAEP placement, it just kind of gets all collected together. Do you have questions about that? Okay. I think that's my last chart for third 6 weeks discipline. Does anyone have any questions about that?
I do.
Yeah.
Going back to the one before.
Yes.
Do we know, or is there a way that we could see, like, of the females, how many of them, like, it's the same female, or is it the same male?
I can tell you it's a lot. I can't tell you a number, but I can tell you that it's a lot. The majority of the students that received referrals are considered repeat offenders, especially in bus. Like there was one individual that was a female that had 3 bus referrals. Like she had 2 in November and she had 1 in December. So I think it's a high population of students. But next time I'll break that up for you. Yes, ma'am.
Do we know how this data compares to last year's?
I don't know if we've ever broken it down this way, but I could easily compare it. The only thing I would think of from last year is our student population that was present wouldn't be as high. Because we had so many kids either distance learning or out for COVID. So I think the data might be skewed.
You are correct.
But just from like being in the environment, at least from what I saw, there wasn't, like the kids weren't crazier than normal. Any other questions?
Are you gonna do a ticket breakdown? Do you have that as far as tickets?
Oh, no, but that would be good. That would take me a lot of time to process, but I could do that.
I'd just be curious on that one. And then I do have a question, insubordination. So what all falls under insubordination? What would you put for that? Because there's a lot of that.
So
I do disrespect and disruption for me mostly, but.
Yeah, so a lot of these are at teacher's discretion. So when you go into putting in that referral, it's one of your drop-down options. But insubordination is just like blatantly not following instructions. So if you tell Johnny to sit down and Johnny says, no, I'm not sitting down, I'm going to walk around and go talk to Billy in the corner, then you could write him up for insubordination. Like not.
Can I do it as disrespect? I don't know. I just was curious. I haven't used that one.
I think it's a preference. They're all
about the same.
The consequence can still be coded the same way. It's just how you personally code it yourself.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yeah, because it all could be, because not following a direct order, you could classify that as almost any of those, just depending upon your personal preference. But it all goes to admin who reviews it and decides whatever their PEMS consequence would be. But tickets, that's a good one. Next 6 weeks, we'll do that. We'll do tickets. Okay, any other questions before we move on from discipline data?
Is the discipline data included in our HRT stuff or HRS stuff?
I think it was in another level.
It was? Okay. But not like in this one that we're working on now.
I think we reviewed it last year.
Yeah.
Because we talked about it a couple times in leadership.
Okay. And do we get like, I don't know, like, is it pinged or something because we have kids that are in DAEP or off school suspension or whatever?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the only time we get dinged is if they're special ed and they're removed from their traditional learning environment. Is that correct?
Yes, and if we get over a certain percentage of our special ed kids attending somewhere other than the regular classroom, meaning ISS, out of school, or DAP, then we end up on RDA, in RDA trouble, and that's where we're in right now. It's because we had an overabundance of our special ed population attend one of those places.
And then within our DAEP campus, we only have so many students that can go. Like, we can't just send 80 kids over there without accepting any more back. So there's also that limitation in there as well.
Well, and also our special ed population has not doubled, but it's grown quite a bit in the last couple of years. So that makes it even harder when you're sending kids off.
And then that's only going to increase with dyslexia students now being considered special ed as well too, right? I don't know if that PEAMS report tells you if a student is classified as special ed. Do you know if it does?
You can run it, you can create a report that will include sub-pops.
Okay. I broke it down also by, like in my own breakdown, by ethnicity, but because our population, like our student population is so dominant Hispanic Latino, that's just what the discipline data showed. There wasn't any major trend in ethnicity and referrals. But if you're interested in that, I can share that with you too. All right, any other questions before we move on from discipline data? Those are all great questions. Awesome. Okay, iReady incentives. So when it comes to iReady incentives, please do not forget to be handing out your snacks to students who complete their lessons, and those are with their ELA or their math teachers. So make sure that students are getting their incentives.
I was told that the iReady vendor would pay for us to have bigger celebrations. So be thinking of that. If you think that that is something that we could cash in on, we could. They will pay for us to have a pizza party or some other thing.
A Kona ice
So
truck.
we could really incentivize it
We should
if
think
we
about
wanted.
that for the end of year test. Because they're
Yes,
so
the end
done
of
with
the year.
that.
Yes, that's a good
And
idea.
if they're showing growth, if they show growth, maybe a big old party.
We did that last year.
We bring a snow cone truck.
Like a golden ticket for the Kona ice.
Pizza.
Yeah.
Yes, but what did we bring the snow cone truck for?
That was for
The kickball tournament.
Kona ice is so easy.
That's
You just pay
right,
for a
yes.
certain amount of snow cones and then they give it to them.
Anyways, they will, our rep or somebody that we're dealing with will pay for these bigger parties, so be thinking of that as we go into the last quarter.
That would be
I think a pizza party, like end of year, like give them a golden ticket, like a golden
Oh,
growth,
that would be cool.
and then they can exchange their golden growth for their pizza. But I also like the Kona ice thing. Come back with ideas for that, and we'll talk about that some more. Other ways to incentivize growth in iReady.
Like an end of the year.
But go back and tell your departments about making sure those kids get their incentive snacks. All right. Miss Myron, do you want to talk about the 2-2-2-2-2-2 theme days?
I mean, we can. I've been seeing it everywhere, like on Pinterest and Facebook, and I know the primary is doing tutus, ties, and mismatched tennies. So it's not going to come around again. you
Yeah.
know? So, and it is on a Tuesday. So it's Tuesday,
Oh, wow.
2/22/22. So just maybe something fun for the kids. There's also, if you look online, there's all kinds of little things you can do in the classroom for that day. Some of them are elementary, some of them are not. Some things are like maybe like you do certain things twice, or maybe you're trying to really enforce a concept, so You take a little quiz on it, you go over it, and then you take the little quiz again to reinforce it and maybe to help grades for some of them who've been struggling. So but I just thought something fun, you know.
That would be fun, something to
Some sort
celebrate.
of little dress-up thing that wouldn't be too distracting, or.
That could be something
Or
that you
something.
send out like on a Google form again, where we like give us 3 options and we vote on whatever we want to do, and I don't know.
Yeah, I can definitely do that, as long as we
like
have 3
campus-wide?
options.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it on the
We
announcement.
just have to decide sooner rather than later, so that way we can get the word out to kids and teachers, because that's a week
Yeah,
from
That
today.
was the thing that I kept thinking last week, there's something else, and.
So if we could come up with the 3 ideas of concepts we could do school-wide, I can send that out this afternoon, and then we can, hopefully by Friday, we can announce it on announcements, and then put it in the weekly message, and then start, maybe even post on Facebook.
Here's
That way
an idea.
parents know.
Read for 22 minutes.
Read
We
for
could
22
read
minutes.
sometime during the day for 22 minutes.
Like have a campus pause. That would be cool.
It's right here on Pinterest.
That would be cool.
Or we
Actually
could
like
dress
that.
as twins while we read.
Yeah, that was something too, dress as twins, and
Okay.
tutus, pigtails, anything in twos.
Pamela had a wonderful idea this morning.
Oh, Pamela, please share.
It was a day. Oh, no. He offered to say it for me.
What was it? It was a tutu Tuesdays and wear tutus.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a
That's what
lot of
they're
people
doing
are
at
doing.
primary.
Tutus would be fun.
It was way too early.
It would be fun, but I think a lot of our boys would come in tutus.
Well, what's wrong with that?
I think so.
They would love it.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Is it against the dress code?
Only about all
not
that.
if they have
They'd
campus.
have to be, they'd have to be in.
It would
dress
be
code.
over their dress code, I mean.
Yeah, they'd have to be in dress code,
Yeah.
like
Underneath.
Yeah.
There's a specific student that comes to mind that wears mismatched shoes already, and I know coming in a tutu
Yeah.
will make him
He would
so
love to wear that.
happy.
Yes.
It's the little things. Okay, more ideas. We got 22-minute read, like a campus pause, twins, tutus.
No, we could have the two.
No, because I think some of those kids would live for a tutu.
This was Pamela's
I've seen
idea.
a lot of, I do this, follow this one middle school science thing, and a whole lot of schools are doing tutus in middle school. And the kids are really excited about it because they got on board with this, obviously long before we did, so they've had feedback.
Another suggestion on here is for math teachers to have a doubles fact day.
A double
Facts about
fact day.
double numbers.
Get double
There's one
Oreo.
Double stuffed Oreo.
Oh, I don't like double stuffed Oreos. Regular Oreos.
Those are the
are
best.
the way they should be. I don't know why they want to change perfection.
I think we should read for 22 minutes and do the dress up.
I agree. I like those ideas.
Okay. Dress up as twins or dress up as tutus, or give them the option.
Twins with tutus.
I like
Twins
tutus,
with
but I don't know how for
tutus.
the dress up.
Where do they find tutus at? How can
You can
They
make
can make
them.
them really easily, yeah, you just get a little piece.
You just buy like an elastic headband and they just tie tulle to them.
Yeah, there's all kinds of different things they do.
Or a piece of ribbon. You will be showing up in a
How about they
tutu,
could
Miss
wear a
Ferris.
tutu for a $2 bill?
That would be
Only
hard to
if you
find
don't
that
like
many
that,
$2
just
bills.
Testers are like, I'm sitting by you the rest of the year.
I guarantee you guys don't even know a $2 bill exists.
No, I'm sure they do not. Okay, so do we want to run with the, should we, well, I don't know, could we piggyback off of what primary is doing and do the tutus, ties, and twins?
No.
No? Okay.
we gotta do original.
Gotta do
I like the
original.
reading and the tutu. Yeah.
Okay, so just tutu
And reading.
and reading.
I
How
like
about
that.
we do deuce instead of tutu? Like,
Because
what's that?
sounds
Sounds
like
too
poop.
I don't want to
Tutu
say.
sounds like
But if we only do tutus, then are we,
that's what I was thinking that
are
we're,
we leaving some people out that wouldn't
necessarily wear a tutu.
I like the twins.
I think
or
we stick to
something.
twins.
What about pigtails, like little
Twins or
pigtails, two
tutus?
pigtails? Those are all little ideas they could do.
Double day, I don't know, double something.
Okay. So we're gonna run with. So we're gonna run with the 22-minute read and the twins. If they want to wear tutus, they can wear tutus.
Through Google Classroom or whatever, or are we just
It
gonna
might
decide?
take a while.
Well, if we decide, then we can make an announcement sooner.
Let me just decide.
I'm sorry.
I've been writing down everything else.
I didn't think this many ideas were gonna come out, so.
We could give them like a few things to choose from to do. Pigtails, tutus, dress as a twin.
Okay.
Little
Yeah.
ideas for them
Yeah.
to do. They can pick what to do. Read for 22 minutes.
So could we say like dress as a double? So like wear, dress as a twin, wear a tutu, pigtails, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot.
2 shoes.
We're trying to give them options so we're not like gender.
Just keep it very general.
Yeah. So we're not sticking to one
Have a fun
gender.
day with your twos.
Let's just,
Yeah.
well, dress as a twin, I mean, they can just dress
Any
however they
match.
want, as long as
Yeah.
they match,
I would
you
leave it
know?
at that.
Yeah.
Tutus or.
So if they wanna wear tutus, they could.
Dress as a twin, and then what else do we have?
Have them build a boat that will float
campus.
using only 2 items.
Oh, a 22-minute campus pause
Then
to
you
read.
have to have items available. Who wants to do that?
When would we do that? During enrichment?
Yeah, when would we
But
do the
everyone's
pause?
enrichment time is different. Would it be like a whole campus-wide thing?
It doesn't have to be. Just
could do
say,
enrichment.
we're gonna get, we're going to.
at 2:22?
Yeah.
No one's in is anyone in athletics in seventh period?
Nope. What?
Well, they could pause.
My dad spells it.
If they have enough notice, they could plan for it.
Is that 6th period?
Because they could read from 2:22 to 2:44.
Because the bell rings at 2:45, so it'd be right up to the bell.
Yeah.
2:22 to plus 22
Read
is
for 22
2:44.
minutes at 2:22.
Okay.
Dress as a twin.
That was so funny.
And a tutu or a toupee.
We can just say on the announcement, and you can wear your tutu if you want to, we're celebrating twos.
Yes.
You know, and just let them wear it if
You
they
can
want
wear your
to.
tutu if you want to. Okay, sorry. Bad jokes. Okay, anything else on that? So we're going to run with the twins and the 22-minute read
At 2:22.
at 2:22 through 2:24, because that's 22 minutes.
No, 2:40.
2:44.
Yes, that's sorry. I wrote it down like that. I promise I mathed correctly. Yes, because the bell rings at 2:50 for 7th period.
2:44 is 22 minutes.
Gotcha.
Okay, awesome. Rolling with it.
So basically the last
Okay.
20
Yeah,
minutes.
it is.
And suggestion box. Were
There
there
were
any?
no new suggestions.
Okay, there were no new suggestions in the suggestion box. Does anyone have anything else they would like to talk about? Yes.
I need to bring up Chromebooks again.
Okay.
In 6th grade, just bring it up for 6th grade, it has become a huge issue. The kids don't bring the Chromebooks, so many don't bring them, where I lend out my 2, I try to get other teachers to lend me theirs, but they're lending out their 2. Half the kids that have them, they aren't charged. They're becoming useless to us because there's just so many that does not have them or they're not charged. And they don't have chargers. And so then I run out of chargers and I run out of spaces to charge their, it's just become a mess for us.
Yes, for 6th grade.
And tickets don't matter to them.
No.
I've contacted parents, it's not helping. So I'm not really sure what to do because it is becoming a huge issue.
Well, we are, our move next year is to not issue them one-to-one to 6th grade, but that's going to entail us buying more Chromebooks because it's going to take more Chromebooks if they're dedicated to classrooms and not to individual kids. So we have some light at the end of the tunnel, but as far as in the meantime, I don't know. Did you guys think of something that you'd like to do or that you?
I mean, honestly, I just wish I could take them all and just have my class set. I know that's not possible, but it is becoming a problem. Like when I'm ready to, when we're taking a test, I have half my class that needs to charge their Chromebook, where I'm trying to move them so they're not next to each other, so it doesn't help. And then half the class doesn't have a Chromebook, because they leave them at home now. They're just using them at home.
You can do, see what originally we were going to do with seventh grade testing that happened today, because they had to bring their Chromebooks charged and ready to take the STAR field test, is that we were going to have the enrichment teachers collect their enrichment and plug them in to make sure that they were charged. But then the issue became, do we have enough places to plug them in the classroom? That's what I think you could possibly do, is collect them, but we would need to tell the elective teachers, sixth graders will not have a Chromebook for your classroom.
That definitely affects Bruce because she uses them every day.
She doesn't have dedicated ones?
No.
Okay.
I just don't know, like,
Then
is
we
there
could
something
take
we
one
can?
for
We
each
do
sixth
an
grade
all
teacher
call or
to
to
make
parents
class
and
set.
let them, remind them that the kids need to bring a charged Chromebook every day.
Is there some type of discipline that we can do? Because really, it's, the tickets for our kids, the tickets aren't mattering to them.
Yeah.
They don't care. I don't know how to fix that. We're calling home, like, there's no consequence that makes them like, oh, I better bring it, because it doesn't matter to
So
them.
why not, if we're, I mean, we're getting close to the end of the year, why not go ahead and start collecting them? Give y'all a cart, let y'all store them in the classroom. At least you'll get them back and you'll have some and they'll all be charged, and then y'all can move the cart from what your class to wherever it needs to go for whoever needs to use them. I mean, that would be the only way.
Well,
to
they're
get
going
them
all
back.
different
Yeah, they
directions.
go, all-
Yeah.
like Bruce needs them, like other electives needs them.
Like Bruce has sixth graders all day long.
Oh, I see.
No, we would just have to give her a set.
Yeah.
Do we have enough to for her to have?
I mean, I've got some extras right now.
Her classes are mixed, they're not all sixth graders, so she
Yeah.
would only need enough for the sixth graders.
She would
That
only
be
probably
my
need like 10 or
initial
so.
reaction, but like, some of the enrichments are small, so you
Right.
guys would have to figure that out as a team
Uh-huh.
and make sure your auxiliary people are taken care of. But you could start collecting them now.
You just have to make sure that your lessons and everything are modified to that, or the people after you. So like if you're collecting an enrichment, like the afternoon people, like afternoon electives, is what I'm saying. No, like, hey, none of your sixth graders are gonna have Chromebooks.
I think we decided it affects you, and I think you and Bruce are the only two.
Yes, because Williamson has desktops. Leal, I don't think ever
He doesn't
uses
use
his
them.
Chromebooks.
My kids have to have them in my
Miss Garcia, she uses hers quite a bit.
Health uses them.
Health uses them a lot
uses
too.
them.
Y'all could pick them up and we could put them back into carts, but it would become more of a checkout again. So you wouldn't have a cart every single day, but within your team, if you have like, I don't know, maybe, I'm thinking 3 carts, maybe not everybody have a cart, then you would have to work that out between your team.
Yeah, on your team, you would have to work out who's using
Right.
the Chromebooks.
What day. That's the problem.
So it's
There's
not
not
gonna work
enough.
right now, yeah.
We need, I think when I met with Mr. Lemire, we needed an additional, I don't even remember how many. Yeah,
So let me give you an
like
example of
250
what-
more.
So it won't work, so I get it, I mean, but like, for example, today, in my enrichment, I had 2 kids, didn't have their Chromebook with them. Well, I have a kid that isn't allowed to have a Chromebook, so he automatically gets mine during enrichment. And I'd already given my Chromebook to another kid who didn't have their Chromebook. And then I had 4 kids who didn't have their Chromebooks charged, so these kids had to move to plug in their Chromebook to do iReady, and then I had 1 kid that was just sitting there because they couldn't get on iReady. So this kid did not do iReady today, and I just gave him a worksheet to do while I worked with other kids.
I have
You see,
sent
I mean,
those
like,
kids
this
to
is-
the library before to work on these computers.
Yes.
If they didn't have their Chromebook, they didn't bring it, they came and did their work in here.
Try to make it inconvenient for them.
Or they had to come in at lunch or something like that.
A ticket and the library.
Yeah, if you inconvenience them, then they don't like that.
That is very frustrating though, I feel your pain.
Yeah, I know. I just don't know what the answer
Yeah,
is
I just don't
immediately.
like sending behavior problems to
No,
them.
I agree with you too.
And that a lot of times is
The
the problem.
Yeah.
Could you, like, as a team, come up with your list of like top offenders, like maybe the 10 kids that never bring them. And then those kids have to leave them here at school and with like their enrichment teacher or whatever. They don't get to take them home. They don't get that privilege.
Yeah. And then we have at least 3 kids that bring it to us every, Lee is one of them. They bring it to us every afternoon. They pick it up every morning. We charge it for them.
And then the teacher could just plug it in for the night and they get it that day and they have to bring it back to that
It's got to
teacher.
where it's not just, I don't, like mine is not
It's not
repeat
always the
offender,
same
it's
one.
not always the same
It's just,
one.
it's just the
variety.
majority. It's just a
Yeah.
lot. But it's fine. I mean, we'll just have to work through the rest of the
And they're
year.
not allowed to come check one out from the library? I thought they were supposed to come.
They have to come
In the morning.
before the bell,
Why?
because that's the rule.
Because
it-
they would need it for the whole day.
Yeah.
I don't know why we decided that, but we decided that it needed to be before school.
Well, we were trying to make it inconvenient.
Yeah, we're trying to
Inconvenient.
make it inconvenient for them.
Yeah.
Make it inconvenient for the teachers.
They can't teach.
Like Julian, I got him, he was using my computer and I was like, and I had 2 other kids who needed it. And then he's like, I go, where's your Chromebook? What's wrong? Oh, it's in my backpack.
Yes.
It's just not charged.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
no.
Yes,
Yeah, they
that's
do
a everyday occurrence too.
Okay, well, that's fine. So next year, we're not gonna have to deal with this, right?
Is that a problem
No,
for
no,
7th or
well-
8th grade?
Hopefully.
Not as
No.
bad as
They
they're
don't,
having.
yeah, I don't.
Are y'all Chromebook dominant? Like, do the majority of your lessons use Chromebook?
Oh,
I
yeah.
use it every day.
So maybe it's
Yeah.
just a
Change the
responsibility
first
thing
grade roll
for 6th grade.
To where they can
Well,
just
what
come
happened
get
when
it,
we-
and then they'll have it
When
for
I
the rest
started
of the
doing,
day, check
at
it
least
back in
for
at the
8th
end of the
grade, social
day.
places, it was doing
I've had the
Like
same
every
issue,
day.
If they don't have
because
it,
the
they
girl
just
who
take
I
it.
have that
Some that need
needs
to charge.
it
And then it just
has
took one and
athletics,
never
and
had
she's out
issues.
at the track.
been
And if you have like a handful, it's easy to charge it,
Well,
but
then I can check over.
not-
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the one
I have
I
power
really
strips
want.
all around
Yeah.
for them to just plug into.
Because he doesn't have a class.
They're at.
but it's
They're
not like a
at-
high
they're at the
demand.
track,
It's,
so
Okay.
they
it's
can't
like
come
maybe
in.
one or
But
two
see, I
kids
think
per
one
class.
of the problems that we'll run into if we do that is you're not gonna have enough.
No.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, because there's
I
so
don't.
many kids that come
And
without
then
their
it becomes a
Chromebooks.
problem of trying to, because they don't turn them in at the end of the day, and then we're hunting them down, and
Because I'm telling you, we have a lot
Are
of
you
kids.
giving them a 0 until they bring it? They can't do the assignment because they don't have their Chromebook here and charged.
I usually find one.
I think 6th grade should focus on starting to collect them,
Yeah.
especially from the repeat offenders.
Okay.
And then let's go from there. But yes, the long-term plan is 6th grade will not issue them 1-to-1 next year.
Okay. All right.
And it's gonna slow roll out, right? Like 6th grade's not gonna be 1-to-1, but 7th and 8th they're gonna continue to be.
if you want to
Okay.
send those kids to us, like they should every day.
After,
Well, we
The rollout.
addressed, I think I remember we
Like
were addressing
Eric
8th grade when that came.
He's like, I
Because remember we were all on board with keeping them.
You have to.
yeah,
bring it
that
every
won't
day.
affect you for 2 more years.
So
Like,
we have
and
time
I said,
to,
okay, you're getting, then I'm giving you a ticket, because that's like the 3rd day in a row.
But like, I'm
No, I
getting
don't
a
know.
set
You just have
of
to.
And I
Chromebooks.
just keep
So like, I will have a
I'll
set
start
in
saying that.
addition
If we ever
to
bring that, I think
all
that
the
would work.
others.
If I
So
start taking
y'all
it
have to
through, it
pull
might work,
extras.
because the kids
I'll
like
have a
having
whole
it.
set.
Yeah, if
In
you
addition
if
to
you
all of
keep
my
it,
sets
Get
out
it
there,
like
so.
10 together as the whole 6th grade.
Or my 7th
And they'll
and
be like, oh, I don't wanna get on that list.
Yes.
You know?
That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
It's like setting up the no badge sheet.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Could we sit them at the no badge table? Wait, let's go back. Could we sit them
You
at?
can make a no Chromebook table.
Yeah. But it's another way to inconvenience
Lunch,
them,
you
to
get a sticker,
incentivize
no
them to
crumb.
bring
Yeah, but
it.
then someone would have to keep a list and inform the lunch people. It's a whole to-do. And I can't do another thing.
Well, could it
I've
be
got
a
too
second
much.
period check-in when you check badges? Like, who doesn't have their badge right underneath it, who doesn't have their Chromebook?
But-
And then it would just be another column.
Yeah, but there's lots of people that don't check badges.
Yeah.
True.
They may have their Chromebook, but it's not charged.
But we would catch that because if they didn't have it the next period, we would know who didn't check badges.
I don't know, talking out loud, brainstorming. But that's another way to
I'm all about
inconvenience them,
punishment.
because they love their lunch.
They hate sitting at the no badge
They
table, so
do.
that is a good
Could you
idea.
email,
The no
like, yeah,
computer table.
Or could we take
I wish
their
the Chromebooks
IDs?
had like a cover, like a colored
we-
cover thing on them, and that
We
way
did
you
that
would
for
know which
pencils.
ones had
We
been
take
checked
the
out from the
ID,
library,
and they have
because
to
then I
return
could
it.
just snatch
Yeah,
that
so
up.
could I take your ID for the day if you don't have your badge?
We have different ones.
Like if you don't have your Chromebook, could I
Yeah, there's
keep
So
your
the
ID
ones
for the
that
day?
look like this are
Then
the
you
ones-
automatically have to
I mean,
sit at the no
there's
badge table because you don't have a badge. Because I took it.
Eighth grade was
Old leather.
That's why I do that.
No,
because-
they wouldn't, but y'all aren't having the chronic issue that they're having.
See, if I gave out, they can't give us iPads now that are extra, the kids
No,
wouldn't
they
do
can't.
it because they don't charge us for it.
Yeah.
I've
So
heard.
that's why I'm asking how to limit to the amount, because I want such.
I keep the note cards if I find them on the floor.
Yeah, because
It's useless to keep
it's
it.
useless, so if they keep it
I
for
don't
2
know, I
days,
like the
it's gonna
idea
die.
of
Yeah.
And they gotta
getting
turn it
a-
in.
But
because
so
there's
we're
no
gonna
rest time.
collect down then from the
Makes sense.
retention centers, is that what we're doing?
And I have a nice little list. Okay, I like the plan that we have collecting some and trying to make examples, so we'll do that and see how it works.
They can leave them in their first period class or their enrichment class or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're saying during 8th period, send 6th grade to their first period in the last like 5 minutes? That's a 10-10
We'll figure it
problem.
out on our teams.
Okay, can you let,
List and those kids have to leave at 8.
okay, can you let electives know? Because like I have 6th graders 8th period.
Yes.
And then that
I
way,
will email you the list.
Okay.
Because you're the, are you the head?
yes, yes. And then I'll push it out.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. Anything else? No? Okay, awesome job for all of that growth that we saw in the data. Thank you for all your help with the 2-day. I will make sure that it's clear in the minutes, so that way it's said in the minutes, announced with announcements, and then we'll put it in the weekly message as well. All right, anything else? All right, y'all are awesome. Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go home at 9.
So I just want to kind of circle back with you about the leadership meeting that I led on February 15th. So just kind of want to debrief with you about that. I know we talked about the HRS level 3 folders and kind of went through those with the individual like teacher committees, giving them an opportunity to talk. Do you think there's somewhere that I could have like done better in leading that?
Well, we went through each one of the folders in HRS, and there were 6 folders. The only thing that I could recommend is maybe having some examples of things that we could have linked into those folders. But I mean, you weren't necessarily working on all 6 of those folders, so it would have been hard for you to necessarily say that. But
almost like come in with like a, hey, this is what I see you have, this is what you're missing for like each. Okay,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So kind of doing more prep work for that specific area.
yeah, that would be good.
Okay.
That's the only thing I could have said.
Yeah, because then I could have sent the teachers with, okay, this is what I need from you, bring it back next week. This is what I need from you, bring it back next week.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Okay. And then the next one was department data. I mean, it was really just like celebrating teacher success. The only thing maybe I think I could have come in the meeting with was if I brought like previous year data or previous unit data so we could cross compare. But with the amount of departments that we had sharing data, that would have been a lot.
It was, and some departments already come with the previous data. They crunched it lots of different ways. Sometimes they bring where we were last year at this time, or they compare it to the last unit they took. Or, I mean, generally the people reporting the data have some sort of longitudinal data that they want to share also.
So they have like a tracking system. Do we have like a master tracker?
No, well, everything's in Eduphoria where.
Oh, so you can pull reports.
Yeah, we can pull it and we can look at it any way we want to. So them reporting data is not data that's new for me because I've already looked at their data.
Okay.
It's more to debrief and inform the staff about it.
Okay. I know a certain teacher had mentioned to me that she really liked, like she was very excited to share her benchmark data because she had like gotten to her goal number. And so she's like, I can't wait to tell everyone.
Oh, yes.
So I think that's a fun opportunity. But I didn't realize that Eduphoria gave you the option to kind of like view it all and pull it all.
Yes.
That's really beneficial.
Yes, it's pretty nice.
Especially from your standpoint, from like the instructional leader, to be able to see that. Like, okay, well, what did you do last year? Because last year was much better than this year. Like, what did we take out? What did we change? How could we fix that? So I think that'd be really, really beneficial.
In the event that any of those scores that they reported were down from the previous assessment or the previous year, as a leader, there would have been some questions behind, okay, well, so what are you gonna do next? Like, what is your strategy to get these scores to increase?
So y'all have those, do you have those in department meetings, or
Yes.
do you visit with teachers individually?
No, we have them in department meetings,
Okay.
unless there's a huge gap between teachers.
Okay.
Then I'll just talk to that individual teacher, but, when we're in leadership, I will bring up there too, well, what is your department going to do about the decline in your scores?
Okay. So kind of, it's like a opportunity for praise, but then it's still an opportunity for like coaching and.
Yes,
Okay. And accountability too.
Yes.
Awesome. And then the third 6 weeks discipline data. I know I worked that data a lot of different ways. And I know that I heard one suggestion from a teacher asking if I could run the data for the ticket system instead of just office referrals, but just wanted to kind of get your take on that.
Well, again, data comes from lots of different resources. We keep it in different places, so the information that you shared came right out of like the official data reported to PEEMS.
Yes.
Through a sender. And so the data that they were talking about was more informal data that is regarding our school-wide behavior system, which can lead to a referral later. But it's more of like the build-up to those referrals. So I can see where it would be beneficial, but that's a lot of data.
I know I looked at the entries and there was like, just for 1 6 weeks, it was like 1,300 entries. And I was like, oh goodness.
And I don't really know what it would tell us, besides the location that it was happening and who was writing up the data.
Because all of the like common occurrences, like the repeat offenders, they end up getting caught because then they do get that official referral after so many. So it's like we already know who those offenders are. Yeah, I think you're right.
And those are more minor infractions that give the student the opportunity to fix their behavior. So I feel like it's very, I don't want to say informal, but it's definitely formative.
Yes.
And then those referrals that are in PEEMS, that's like the summative of their behavior.
No, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, and I really think the work to process through all that would be not worth the reward. Because there's really no like tangible reward that could come from processing the ticket data.
If the tickets told us more, like the function of the behavior, what caused the student to do that, even the time of day.
That's true.
And location would tell us more, but our ticket system is not. It's just the date, the teacher referring, and what happened.
Okay. Awesome. Good. I enjoyed running that discipline data. I thought it was very interesting just to see the trends and just to kind of see like how many more referrals come from campus as opposed to like other places that they still can be written up. So I thought that was very interesting. And then we talked about iReady incentives. I know I kind of took a backseat on this just because I don't implement iReady in my classroom, and so the incentive system is kind of foreign to my department and to me as a whole. So I know that I could have like done my homework a little more and figured out, okay, well, what is the issue with the iReady incentives? How are they being distributed? How that could work, so that way I could talk a little more on that piece. Because I think that was the real reason that it was there.
Yes.
Was because there was an issue in distribution. So if again, it would come back with, I guess, being further prepared for, just being more prepared for the meeting. Because I felt like I came in relatively prepared, but I think I spent so much time on the data, the discipline data, that I kind of neglected some of the other components of the agenda that we were talking about.
Well, it's super important to know what the issues are. So as the elected person, you can help support the ELA and math teachers in reaching their iReady goals, because they're getting rewarded every time they reach their iReady goal.
Right.
I mean, it's good to know what the school-wide system is, but we have so many things.
Yes.
It's hard to know them all the time.
Well, and then it's like everyone has different goals. Like 6th grade has them doing a different number than 7th grade, and then 7th grade's different than 8th grade, and so it like, eventually all the systems, they jumble, but for sure. And then the theme day, I thought I facilitated that collaborative discussion fairly well. I appreciated that there were a couple teachers that came in with ideas, like they saw it on the agenda and were like, I have an idea. And I felt like that helped to kind of really facilitate the discussion. But then I felt like I kind of kept everyone on track, made a goal, and then gave a final decision so that way it could get inputted into the minutes. That way kind of knew what was going on.
I thought you did a great job with developing their ideas for the theme days, and leading that leadership meeting. It probably really allowed you in that case to understand why it was important to send out the agenda ahead of time.
Yes.
So they can be thinking of what they want to contribute. Yes.
And I never took that into consideration. Like receiving the agenda was like, oh, cool, so kind of know what we're talking about. But I never thought of it like, oh, well, now it tells departments like, have your data ready. Make sure you know make sure you have that report run. And then with these like theme days, like if you're very passionate about something you want to happen, you want to see, you want to be done, then you can bring it. And so, yeah, for sure. I think sending the agenda makes a whole lot of sense. But you don't really realize that until you're on the other side. Like sitting on one side of the meeting, you're just present. Like that's all. That's the majority of the expectation is for you to be present and be collaborative when asked. But on the other side of that, there's so much back work that happens just to get to the point of being able to have that meeting.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's very different, and it's a mind shift, and it takes some adjustment, like in some learning opportunities, because you gotta fail a few times before you're gonna succeed.
I've done that too. I have not prepared them to be thinking of something ahead of time. So when they come to leadership, they're not ready to speak to whatever the item is. And then we end up having to revisit it week after week after week. So, you know, when something's been on there for 3 weeks in a row, we've got to bring our ideas and get the decision ready. But you did a great job with that.
Awesome, thank you. Do you have any other suggestions, comments, feedback from the meeting?
No, I think we covered it as we went over the agenda items. I think that was a good way to review it.
Awesome. I know I heard from some staff members of just things that like they thought that I did great on, some things they thought I could improve on. Did you hear anything from your side, maybe from other administrators on how they felt that it went?
They all thought it went very well. I didn't hear anything, no constructive criticism.
Okay.
Everybody thought that you did a great job leading the group.
Awesome. Well, perfect. Thank you so much for your time. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you. Easy.